The Sunday games are about wrapped up. We still got the Sunday night game to go, but we are going to start early and deep dive the waiver wire. We picked apart the box scores. We watched the red zone. Here are some plays that we might be looking at here in a few days when it comes to picking up some stashes off the waiver wire this week. One thing to note, make sure you got a good stash running back on the back end of your roster. Make sure your top starting running back has a good handcuff if you got one of the top starting running backs in the National Football League. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're deep diving the waiver wire every single day so you get that information needed to make those required pickups. On top of that, we deep dive the trending players every day, multiple players a day, so you get extra information on those trending players that you're searching for that you may want to pick up, but you may get the information and be like, hey, I don't want to pick them up. That's why you need to click that subscribe button so you can get the advanced analytics, the situation around these players. Let's dig in. Let's see who we're picking up this week. Isaiah Davis, because we already picked up Braylon Allen. If Braylon Allen's on the waiver wire, shame on your league. He better get picked up this week. But Isaiah Davis, we did a unique video on him last night. 10 carries, 40 yards, a touchdown. 6 targets, 3 balls caught, 27 yards. And this team uses 2 running backs. They'll use them both in the passing game. They'll both get opportunities. You do not know which one's going to be the guy. And they're both solid running back prospects. And we got a good schedule for these running backs going forward. If you got a spot, if you want to play the matchups with Isaiah Davis, go right ahead. If you don't need him, then you don't get him. But Isaiah Davis got some workload today. He had 16 opportunities. That's more than 10. That was off and on with Braylon Allen. And they're splitting up the role. One thing we said in his unique video, that Braylon Allen's touches might be reduced back compared to Breece Hall, and some of those might go to Isaiah Davis because he's not Breece Hall. We saw that a bit today. 10 carries, 40 yards, 4 yards to carry, a touchdown, 6 targets, 3 catches, 27 yards. Be on the lookout for Isaiah Davis. Some of you guys already picked him up. Some of you guys been stashing him. Really depends. Depth of your bench, depth of your league. But if you're looking for a running back, here's a guy getting opportunities. And we got a good schedule going forward. Watch Breece Hall, though. He could be back sooner than later. Tyler Allgeier's one of the most trusted handcuffs in the National Football League. He is the most dependable because there will be games where he gets enough work where he can give you a little something in fantasy. But if Bijan Robinson goes down, you know the team's not going to mess with him. He's going to get his workload, and he'll trend very well for fantasy football. He scored a touchdown today, 9 carries, 63 yards. Stole that touchdown early in the game today from Bijan Robinson. A lot of people went nuts over that. Tyler Allgeier is a hammer. If I got Bijan, I want Tyler Allgeier right now. He should have been stashed already. But Tyler Allgeier's a hammer, and he's a guy that you want to add as a stash play because if Bijan Robinson goes down this week, next week, week after, somewhere down the line in fantasy playoffs, everybody's going to fight for this guy because we know he can be a 1,000-yard rusher as the main squeeze in the backfield, and he can be productive, and he can handle a large workload. Tyler Allgeier is a stash. Ray McCloud, if you're hurting for a wide receiver, he's getting targets these last 3 weeks, 6, 6, 11. I guarantee you this, he will be on the field. Most weeks, he's up running over a 90% route participation rate. They move him around. They throw him in the slot. He's getting opportunity. I can't guarantee you that he will hit for fantasy production. He did have a cold streak earlier this season, but he's been heating up a little bit as well, especially when it comes to the workload. Ray McCloud will be on the field running routes at a good clip for one of the most explosive teams in the National Football League. But Ray McCloud is getting that opportunity in an offense that you want pieces of, and that's a good thing, especially if you're hurting at wide receiver. Kendre Miller has entered the chat. We want to watch this over the back 9 of the season here because there's nothing really else for the Saints to rely on outside of Alvin Kamara. I mean, MVS has been hitting and splashing in these games, but he's not really an asset. He's just a deep threat wide receiver. Outside of that, Kendre Miller's probably getting some touches, a lottery ticket running back, a good stash play behind Alvin Kamara. If I have Alvin Kamara, I want Kendre Miller now because he's proven to handle a workload. 3.2 yards per carry. Don't get that twisted. But they want to see what was up with Kendre Miller. He's explosive. They haven't got to really use him. He's been banged up so much over the last 2 years. That being said, 10 carries in this game. And I'm looking at the carries and the touchdown. The 32 yards, it's there. But Alvin Kamara's the guy. Good handcuff for Kamara. On top of that, he might splash in some of these matchups for you. Adam Thielen should be rostered. But if he's not, pick him up. 11 targets, 9 catches, 102 yards. I left Adam Thielen out of one of the waiver wire videos last week, even though I did like 5 or 6 of them. Somebody was in the chat saying, hey, where's Adam Thielen? He's just going to have to be in there from now on. Even though he's rostered 90% sleeper, he's just going to have to be in there because someone will comment. Adam Thielen, he's here. Sean Tucker, though. I go from not so deep to kind of more deep, but not really. We had an injury scare with Bucky Irving going into this week. You need Sean Tucker. 2 teams, or maybe 1 team in every league needs Sean Tucker as a stash because if Bucky Irving or Rashad White go down, Sean Tucker's going to get work. 47 yards in this matchup on 3 carries. He's very efficient. We got 2 targets in this game. We're getting enough workload where he's scary enough for fantasy production, and he's already hit once this season when one of these running backs were out. Sean Tucker's a good running back prospect. This team's blessed at the running back position. If one of those running backs go down, he's going to see some work. He'll probably see 10, 12, 14, 15 carries and a couple targets, and he'll probably do well in fantasy, and the Bucs have a good schedule down the line. So he's a good handcuff running back to get for one of those running backs, or a good stash play if you got the space. Sincere McCormick's getting that work. 5.2 yards per carry, 3 targets in this game, and a running back that you may have to use because you're not good at the running back position, but we got some upside here, and it's not like the other running backs on this team are undeniable, so he's the hot hand right now. Maybe he continues to get work. Watch him. But for the waiver wire, when we're looking at the running back position, you got another option, but he should be picked up as well because last week he was a hot commodity. But again, he could be still out there. Jalen McMillan. So a lot of people left him for dead. I've been saying this over the last week or so. The schedule's kind of nice, and he's running a lot of routes. He's going to hit, and we do not know when. There's a chance that he hits again. Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, great schedule. He's still running a lot of routes. He's still moving around. 7 targets in this game. He should be still getting a lot of work. Jalen McMillan might hit again, and he's a good wide receiver to have on your depth chart. He was banged up during this time, and he's ramping up from that after the bye week, but we were still running a lot of routes, and we've been running a lot of routes with Chris Godwin out. That being said, Jalen McMillan could hit in these next 3 games. Those are some good matchups coming up. Kenny McIntosh. We are going deep here. We're watching Kenneth Walker. Everybody picked up Zach Charbonnet. Kenny McIntosh might need a deep dive, and I said in Charbonnet's deep dive that if he does a lick anything, that he's getting a deep dive because Kenny McIntosh is a dangerous player in this offense. He's good at catching the ball downfield. He's a good receiving back for his size. He can also run it between the tackles. 5 carries, 36 yards, 2 targets. You got to watch him. He's not a must pickup, but we got to go a little bit deeper because all the running backs should be stashed. And I also prefaced that you need to get your handcuffed running backs before the video. And I'm not going to continue to say the same names because you should already know them by now. Trey Benson, Blake Corum, so on, Ray Davis. That being said, Kenny McIntosh, add him to the bunch. If you're deep enough, you may have to do it now. Watch Kenneth Walker going forward. Kenny McIntosh, good in the passing game. Kimani Vidal still is yet to play, but we're starting to get some work. We're explosive. 4 carries to Gus Edwards, 6 carries. Rough matchup against Chiefs. They may have to target him a little bit more in the passing game. But after this game, we got Tampa Bay. But then we got Denver, a rough one. And then we got New England on the road. However, he's going to get work in the passing game. He's ran more routes than Gus Edwards and Hassan Haskins together. So that means there's some opportunity here. Buyer beware, though, because the schedule's a little bit iffy. This week is a little iffy. Jalen Warren really should be rostered in all leagues, especially if you got Najee Harris, but he's getting enough work to give you a little something every week, which makes him a great handcuff 1B running back to have. 9 carries in this game and 5 targets. 47 yards and then 25 yards through the air off 2 catches. Jalen Warren's getting a lot of work. He's a guy that you need to be interested in because when we're playing Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, He's going to be getting opportunities in the passing game, and that could allow him to light up in your box score. Tim Patrick is a rando wide receiver to look at, but for the Denver Broncos, he was a hitter. And now with the Detroit Lions, we got some upside here in those shootouts. I do not expect him to be consistent. I do not expect this to happen much going forward. But there's going to be opportunities in this offense. 16-teamer, 18-teamer, 20-teamer. Yes, I'm looking at Tim Patrick. Basic 12-man league. I better be right at wide receiver before I have to go this deep. However, some of you may have to. Good luck to you guys. But that's a quick look at the waiver wire. Going into week 15, I'll have a lot more waiver wire videos in the coming days. Those get deeper with more analytics as we get deeper into the week. Because more analytics roll out, more players roll out, more injuries roll out. So make sure to hit that subscribe button right now so you can stay tuned to the news that's happening with these players and the numbers that are rolling out on these players that are giving us good indicators to whether or not we need them on our rosters. Click that button. Stop missing out. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.